One thing that you will find out when you change over to a quick change tool post is that you have a variety of unique tooling that you can purchase for that tool post to do specific jobs. Now this guy here on the end, you know that's not a lathe tool, but I'm going to give you a shop gem on that one. So stick around for an explanation. It could save you money and a lot of frustration in time. Let's pull these closer to the camera, take a look at them one at a time, and tell you what it's all about. Probably going to see some things that you never knew existed. Okay, without a doubt, the most common and probably the most popular block that you're going to see on a quick change tool holder is this style right here. One has a groove in it that runs lengthwise for round tools, and the exact same size, geometry, channel, thickness, everything is the other one without the groove. The Aloris style. One is the BXA1. That is the one without the groove. That's the easy way to remember it. The one is the one that doesn't have a groove. And the BXA2, you can hold a round tool or a square tool. Two different kinds of tools. BXA2, easy to remember. Most common, and I'll bet you have need for more than one of these on your rack. Another very cool tool to have is this guy right here. If you have it positioned in your machine this way, you can turn with it, you can take it out, immediately flip it to the boring side, and you can face with it. This one has a negative seat for the insert. And if I had to guess, I would say this is really awesome for cast iron and such where you need a negative attack on the material. This one also comes in a neutral seat. It's the camera bending it like that, but this is flat. Same kind of tool. This holds a TPG insert, triangular, three-sided, single-sided, three-sided positive. And these little guys on top are built-in chip breakers with a carbide insert welded to the edge that, depending on the depth of cut, speed of cut, material, you can slide this forward and back to control the chip and break the chip if you need to. This is a BXA 16. And I guess BXA 16 on this one too, you just have to specify whether you want a neutral or a negative or possibly even a positive. I don't know, I only have two of these. Another good one to have if you're only going to spend a certain amount of money. Face and turn on the same tool. Outstanding and quick. Everybody knows what this guy is. Parting tool, high-speed steel blades, nothing special about it. Infinitely renewable, just keep moving the part out. And this whole made in China thing, I can tell you, I am not liking these blades because the relief on top is just for show. You can see how I've had to take this one and butcher this one up to get the sides to clear. It works now once you modify it, but as is, no bueno, guys. But it is my most useful parting tool that I have. Only have one. Many comments in the past have been made about this guy here. This is a parting tool also. This is a BXA 71 Aloris tool. This is an insert tool. All of this is just strictly a holder. It is reversible because this end is known to snap off if you load it up. This is the insert right here. This is a grooving and parting insert. And you can see that this is probably a lot more rigid than the 7/8 or 1 inch thick high-speed vertical tooling that I just showed you. This is the threading tool holder that I use. I don't know if it is currently available anymore, but this is an NSL 123B Kennametal top-notch insert. And what is this? This is a left hand because the insert is on the left side looking down the shank. And I'm showing you this because this is also a threading tool as well. But it's integral to the block. And Aloris BXA 8 has been smart enough to conform the main cutting head and the holder so that it can be positioned this way or shifted up and inverted, or for inverted tooling, inverted cutting. You can also adjust the pitch of that with any of the 3 screws that are in the back. I use my insert tool way more than I use this, but I have it. Very similar to the insert parting tool, another insert threading tool. Same thing with the adjustable and variety of positioning options on the head. One good thing about these tools is you can just completely take this and take it away, and now you have a fantastic platform for making whatever you want to make to fit on the front of an Aloris holder. The beauty of this little guy is they were smart enough to put a groove back here so you can thread and then shift over real quick. You can have a deburring tool or a chamfer tool on the back side of this one. This is a BXA 31, 81, or 18. I really can't tell you. Looks like 81. BXA 81. Another very handy block to have is a deep throat block. This one allows you to put tools in here straight, sideways, put them this way, put them diagonally, so you do not have to move your Aloris block every time you come up with that one tool that only works when it's set at 25 degrees or whatever you want to set it at. This is the holder for you. They were smart enough to put a screw in from the bottom so that when you go gorilla grip on your Allen screws here and spread this thing open like a clam, this particular screw will resist these leaves spreading. And to look at this, you wouldn't think that would happen, but believe me, when you get carried away with that T-driver handle, you can open it up. Another good one to have in the box. This is a BXA 6. Now here's one that's been trued up. This is a BXA 13, and this is very similar to these guys right here, only it has an extended nose. Okay, very handy tool to have if you have long tools or need to get in behind something, whatever. But having an extended holder like this will come in handy, and nothing else will work when it's time to use one. That's what you're going to need. Now I guarantee not too many of you have seen this guy before. This is a BXA 19. This is a crush knurl, or I think they call this an elevator knurl, clamp type knurl. Integral to the holder. Adjustable. There you go. I mean, what's to say? It's a knurling tool. Capacity, I guess, is about 2-inch diameter. Definitely regulated by a correct positioning of the wheels over the center or slightly off center, either way, vertically, from that center line to the inside of the holder. There you go. One piece. This thing is heavy. I wouldn't want to drop that on my foot. I'm sure everybody has seen these guys. This is a BXA 4 1-inch diameter boring bar holder. I'm fairly sure they make these in smaller through holes, but when I set this up, I have collars that I put inside the bar, or excuse me, inside the block for 3/4 and 1/2-inch diameter bars. But it's nice to have a 1-inch, gives you that option as opposed to having a small hole and you can't use a bigger bar. My go-to turning tool, and a lot of you guys are just slapping yourselves on the forehead right now going, "What are you doing, Joe?" This is a KTG PR 123A Kennametal TPG insert holder. Now, I might be showing my years here, but I love this holder, and correctly set with the correct wiper on top or the correct chip breaker on top, you can make the metal move with this particular tool. I love it. I have used it for gotta be 40 years, and I absolutely love this tool. And I don't believe they even make it anymore. Iskar, Dorian, there are a few manufacturers that still make a profile that looks like this, but I don't think you're going to find this number if you go searching for it. It might put you on the right track if you go searching for it, but there it is. Now the reason for the milling holder and the turning tool. Many turning tool inserts are 80-degree diamonds. 80-degree diamond is shifted. Okay, so to look at it, you have nice cutting geometry here, nice cutting geometry here, and when you flip it over, you have the opposing corners as well. Well, go to your scrap carbide bin and take a look at how many inserts you have in your bin that you've thrown away that still have good corners on them. That's when you go to the catalog and you figure out the corners that you don't use on your turning tool, what kind of holder holds the insert that will allow you to use the other corners. It's like getting 4 free corners per insert for free. I've seen a lot of guys use the, I believe it's a CPGN or CPG profile 80-degree diamond. And the turning tool, burn up all the 80-degree corners, completely ignore the 110-degree edges, and the 110-degree edges would work perfectly in a cutter like this. This is not a CPG holder, but you get the idea. So the corners that you burn up in your turning tool are not needed in the milling tool, and the ones that burn up in the milling tool are not needed in the turning tool. So save yourself some money, stop throwing away carbide with sharp corners, and go to the catalog and figure that out. This is a CPG insert. This is the 80-degree diamond insert that I was just referring to. In a turning operation that you want to turn and face in the same operation, this particular tool is fantastic for that because you have back relief in both directions. Turn to a corner, pull out. Flip it, you have another sharp corner, renewable corners. Same thing here, 2 on the other side. There are 8 usable cutting edges on this insert, 8. So if you're paying a little extra for an insert like this, it's because you're getting 8 edges. If you have a turning tool that only utilizes these corners, you may wish to research a turning tool that utilizes these corners. You can use these for facing, you can use these for full diameter turning. You can also use these in a shell mill like I just instructed. Okay? These are the corners that are burned up. Who cares what they look like? Use them in the shell mill. This side, this side, this side, and this side. It's like getting a whole new insert for free. I guarantee if you go into a shop and you go through their scrap carbide, you're going to find a bunch of these guys with perfect corners on these edges. Don't do that. Don't waste the money. This is a fantastic little insert, but please utilize the other 4 corners. Do it. KTG PR 123A TPG insert. And as far as that whole insert thing goes, this is like a $20 insert. So when you start talking about insert tooling, you better need it because it's going to cost you a couple of bucks. The last thing you want to do is throw away a corner that you've paid for. Utilize the carbide, even if it means spending another couple $100 on another cutter. That holder will pay for itself in no time. Threading grooving NSR 123B, right hand, and SL 123B, left hand. Fantastic tools. And as far as the height adjustment on these blocks go, let's say you're using an exceptionally small boring bar and you don't have the vertical height adjustment. This is my handy dandy little Let's take this out because that's a turning direction. This is the boring direction right there. There we go. Ridge on the outside so that it doesn't go too far in, and the screw comes down and allows you to go subsurface with the height adjustment. You can see that right now that would be rising above the top of the Aloris block. Another way to overcome quick change tool holders that you cannot get enough vertical height on. Let's take a look at my rack here and review that. Okay, we're going to investigate the tools. What does this rack tell you? Well, it tells you that all the adjusters are at the bottom of the range. Look at all the exposed thread on these. Quite a bit. That means that your block on your machine could have a plate underneath it to raise it up at least the amount of the exposure of the shortest thread you have right here, 1/2 inch. You want to put a 1/2 inch plate underneath this block right here, you would pick up incredible adjustability with each one of these blocks, and you would no longer have the problem of not being able to center a tool because you ran out of adjustment. When the whole block comes up, this will have to be raised to put the tool back on center, and then you have that adjustability to coordinate the tool. I hope taking a look at these has given you something to think about. Very handy tool right there. Super handy insert tools here. And that shop gem about coordinating your turning and your milling inserts, that is something that you absolutely have to check into. You will save a ton of money over the years doing that. All right, guys, it is Saturday. It is time for me to go home. Thank you very much for watching. Joe Pye, Advanced Innovations in Austin, Texas.